Okay, lesson 8.1. We're going to go over the warm-ups. So if you need to pause the video, do the warm-ups, and then you can check your answers. We need to do distributive property. This is your distributor. It's on the outside of your parentheses with no sign between that number and your parentheses. So that means multiply it to everything inside your parentheses. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8x. I just bring down my negative 3. Negative 4 times 5 is negative 20 equals 1. From here, I simply solve. I combine like terms that are on the same side of the equal sign. Negative 3 minus 20 is negative 23. Minus 8x equals 1. Now, I'm going to move my 23 because I want to get my numbers with letters on one side, my numbers without letters on the other side. So this has to be moved to here because my 1 doesn't have a letter. I do the opposite, so I add 23 to both sides. Negative 8x equals 24. Divide both sides by negative 8. X equals negative 3. Okay? Over here, negative 8 plus 12x equals 10x minus 2. I'm going to move my smallest number with a letter. 2x equals 6. X equals 3. Okay? Okay. 8.1 is straight review. Okay. We're going to review graphing. Equations in slope-intercept form look like y equals mx plus b. The most important thing is your y is all by itself. And then you'll have a number next to your x and your y-intercept. Remember, your y-intercept is your b. That's where the line crosses the y-axis. That's what you graph first. The m is your slope. That's rise over run. That's where you graph from your y-intercept. Okay? And the defined slope, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So, let's review this. Number 1, here are the steps. Make sure the equation is in slope-intercept form. I do that by making sure my y is all by itself. Graph the y-intercept. That's my loner. Graph my y-intercept. It's negative 1. So I put a dot at negative 1. From the y-intercept, graph your slope. Make sure your slope is in fraction form. There's my slope. So it's 2 over 3. The top number is up or down. The bottom number is right or left. Up if it's positive, down if it's negative. Right if it's positive, left if it's negative. These are both positive. So I'm going to go from my y-intercept up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3. Connect my dots with my line. I just graphed it. That should be easy. You should know how to do that. As a final check, I do this. Is my 2/3, is 2/3 positive or negative? Is 2/3 positive or negative? Is this line I just drew, is it positive or negative? It's positive. See? He's walking up and has a smile because he's positive. All right? That's the final check you want to make. Okay. Number 3. Is number 3 in slope-intercept form? Why not? Because why? The y is not by itself, is it? So I have to make the y by itself. So that means I'm going to take the 3x, I'm going to move it over here. And I'm going to put it in front of the 4. So let me go ahead and draw the arrow like, whoa! Let me draw the arrow like that. I'm going to move this 3x over here, and I'm going to put it in front of the 4. It's positive. How do I move a positive number? Do the opposite. So I'm going to subtract 3x to both sides. Can I add 4 and negative 3x? No, they don't both have x's, do they? So this cancels. 4y equals negative 3x plus 4. Notice how I put the negative 3x first. Now, how do I get rid of the 4 from the y? Divide. 4 is not being added or subtracted to y, it's being multiplied. To undo multiplication, use division. Because I'm graphing, I divide everything by 4. Y equals negative 3 over 4x plus 1. Now, my y is isolated, I can graph. I go to plus 1, put a dot. Now, you might want to write these arrows next to your slope, just so you remember. The top number is up or down. You guys struggled with that. The bottom number is right or left. If my top number is negative, what does that tell me? Go down. How many? 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to go over how many? And because it's positive, I'm going to go 4 to the right. Now, I cannot go down 3 and 4 to the right again, so what do I have to do? If I went down and to the right, I can go up and over to the left.
Isn't that supposed to be on 1?
Oh, yes it is. Very nice. I put it on 2. Okay, so let's move that. That's supposed to be on 1. Move that to 1. That moves that down. That moves that down. Very good. Okay, so the last check I do is I check to make sure which way is my guy walking, up or down? He's walking down. He's depressed. He's negative. He's negative. My 3 is negative. My slope is negative. This matches. Okay? Okay, now we're going to review writing equations in slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. To write an equation, you need to know 2 things. You need to know your y-intercept and your slope. Remember, this is y equals blank x blank. And then you fill in your slope and your y-intercept. So, let's practice. Remember blank, y equals blank x blank. Write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form, y equals blank x blank, whose slope is 2/3 and whose y-intercept is 5. Maria, what do I put in my first blank? 2/3. Adrian, what do I put in my second blank? Yep. Now, yes, it's a positive 5, so I have to put plus 5. You have to have a sign in between your x and your number. That's pretty easy, right? It doesn't get any harder than that. Everybody do number 2. Y equals blank x blank. Lorenzo, what goes in my first blank? -5. What goes in my second blank? Anybody, what goes in my second blank?
+0.
Okay, +0, or I could just leave it blank, couldn't I? Y equals -5x would be fine too. Okay, number 3. Again, this is just a quick review, so we're not spending much time on this. Blank x blank. The only time I don't write y equals blank x blank is if it says your x-intercept. Then I would just write x equals. What's my slope? What's my slope, kids? 2. 2 or 2 over 1. Very good. That goes in the first blank. Now, this is x1, y1. What is my y-intercept? What?
7.
Nope.
7 equals 2x.
Excellent. I have to substitute my x and my y. So I put my box, 2 over 1, and then I put my box for x plus b. I'm going to substitute my y with a 7, so I put my boxes, and my 3 for my x, and then I solve. So 2 over 1 times 3 is really 6 over 1, or 6. So 7 equals 6 plus b, 1 equals b plus 1. I'll pause and let you look at that for a second. Now we go to number 4. Number 4, we still have to write the equation of a line, blank x blank. However, we're not given the slope or the y-intercept. x1, y1, x2, y2. So the first thing we're going to find is our slope. When I go to find slope, I want you to write this. M equals box minus box over box minus box. Now, this is y2 minus y1, because if you look back the previous page to find slope, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2 is -15, y1 is -7, x2 is 3, x1 is 1. Now, without the boxes, you may forget your double negatives here. If you go box minus box, box minus box, you're going to see your double negative. So this is -15 plus 7. What's -15 plus 7? -8. So m equals -8 over 2. What does that reduce to? -4. So my slope is -4. So I put that in my -4 box. Now, box equals -4 box plus b, because I'm going to solve for b. I'm going to use x1, y1. So -7 goes in for my y. 1 goes in for my x. -7 equals -4 plus b. -3 equals b. -3 goes right there. All right. That is all for 8.1. If you have any questions, please feel free.